He's the only director who can scream at her from the monitor. Hey, Dimple, you're faking it. Do it right.
You know, I'm not liking everyone imitating me on this fucking interview. Now, whenever I have something like that.
I just love gory stuff. Like when the blood splashes and I'm slicing everyone. It is.
So Deepak, a very funny thing happened with him. He, for some reason, thought that he was shooting in the first schedule. So he got into this whole space. And I said, dude, it's a bit premature. So he's like, why? Kyun, Homi, bhai? I said, because we are in November and you're shooting in Jan. He said, what? And he said, my wife is getting scared of me at home. Because I keep looking at her in this really weird, pervy way. And she's just like, what's wrong with you, dude? He said, no, my character. And welcome to the show, Rajeev, Isha, Radhika, Angira.
And the show is called Masand Ki Pasand.
The three Bahus and the Saas.
Or three lovely ladies and token gent.
Oh, great, yeah.
You know, it's good to see you all. We are, of course, here to talk about your show, Saas Bahu or Flamingo. But I'm going to get straight to it. Within the first 7 minutes of the show, I felt like this could easily be called sex, drugs, and decapitation. Was the plan always that we'll get them by the balls from the moment in? Was that the idea?
See, the idea of the cold open and bringing you into the world's pretty hard, I think, is to just say, listen, this is the place we're going to be in. So buckle up. And, you know, initially we had various ways of opening the show, which we did on the edit. And I feel that that wasn't true to the show. So the idea is for the audience to say, okay, listen, this is the world.
Hit the ground running.
Get it and don't be apologetic about it.
You know, it feels like you want to tell everyone, sure, we may have borrowed our title from the Saas Bahu shows, but this is nothing like that.
No, it's nothing like that. Not that I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with
He's watched
what
Kyunki
they were,
Saas
but I know it was a very
Rahani Ghar
popular
Ghar Ki,
format.
seen all of
All
them.
of those, of course.
Yeah,
I mean,
Every Sunday, na? And my reruns and
Daily
I used
soap.
to, daily. Sorry, I used to, yeah.
you know, I want to say that whether it comes to the sex or the violence, y'all are pushing boundaries. I'm not saying that the sex is explicit. I'm saying it's provocative. I mean, you're introduced riding a guy cowboy, VR set strapped in, you know, getting to orgasm. The violence, there are tongues being cut, there's heads being sliced. It's visceral.
Yeah, but I think it's...
I'm not complaining.
No, I know you're not. You're sounding quite excited as you're saying it.
I mean, it is unlike anything else, right? We've
No,
seen.
but I feel what we have definitely been extremely conscious of is keeping it very aesthetic. So yeah, it does push the boundary, and sure, people don't want to, some people may not want to see that much violence, but it's not done just for shock value. Yeah. I think it's done very sort of, it's very conducive to the narrative, to the world, to showing the characters the way they are. I mean, you're talking about her character Shanta's introduction, and it is a very unique introduction. There's a reason for it, because she's a chemist and she's just made a pill that makes 2 minutes feel like 2 hours, and she's testing the pill to see how long an orgasm can stretch in a cerebral context.
You know, I feel like the show is a very interesting sort of desi spin on everything from Narcos and Succession to The Godfather, and yet it's really its own unique thing. It is the story of a family business run by the women, the drug business, without the men of the house ever finding out what's going on. You don't really think very highly of men's intelligence, do you?
He's a shady guy. He's a shady guy.
You're asking me
I mean, all of you, yeah.
in the real life or in the show?
I suppose if you put that in the show, you believe that men can be
well,
so.
I wouldn't knock men that much,
That
but
hard,
I
yeah.
definitely feel that women are the more evolved part of our human species for sure. It's unfair to break it down like that, but I feel men are very black and white, whereas women are extremely nuanced, way more complex, and frankly way more intelligent.
Do you agree? I guess you can't not. No. But I mean, you know, spare a thought, yeah. He's just like savage men.
No, we actually put it very nicely that women are far more complex and they're wired very, very differently. If you see them in a they're wiring in a box, it'll just be like all coiled up like this because it is so.
I don't mean to cut you off again.
Go ahead,
But
go
you're
ahead,
used
that's my
to it.
life.
You're used to
This
it.
is how
We
it
did this
rolls with me.
in all her
Pretty
last
much looks like a
series of-
set.
Because the last time I said something in the
yeah,
middle,
yeah.
you said, hey, don't talk in the middle.
Do I talk like that? You did. I said not to imitate me in public.
Sorry.
No. But I'm saying that purely in contextually. I mean, to the show. For women to run a business like this in a lawless place, they've created this world, and I think it would be a very different world if men had done that.
Right.
Purely because
Also, we've seen that word, right? Many times over.
I guess, yeah. It's not, but it's that Dimple's character Savitri has a much bigger plan in mind. She was someone who was marginalized. She was left for dead. The world turned its back on her, and she sort of rose like a phoenix. And she comes back, and she says, "Now, when I was down and out, and no one was there for me, now that I've survived, I am going to now create my own world with my own sense of morality, my own system." And in this fictitious, lawless place that they exist, everyone who is a Savitri will get a place to stay, and will get will be protected here, and will have a life here, and will have respect. And in that sense, she's extremely generous. And most of those women who run the cooperative, which is the front for the drug business, which is called Rani Cooperative, are not aware of the drug business that goes on under the Haveli, which is run by the widows, who were the first ones who joined her along her journey. And they are the ones who had started with in the story, who had started with an Afeem business, and then it grows and grows, and then she starts this whole. She's like the biggest drug lord this side of the sphere.
I want to come back to the duality of it, but I want to ask Isha and Angira as well. Do you remember reading it for the first time?
Yes.
And do you remember how you felt?
For me, the group reading, we had a reading before we started the show, and that's when I really got a sense of the show. For me, when everybody was there and everybody read out their parts, and that's when I really understood the world, and I was really nervous, and I had to run away from Bombay to quickly prep for it because I thought this is really far away from me. Yeah.
We were all given our parts. We were not all given the show in its totality.
Read it in totality.
So what happens is when you read that, you're actually able to see the entire arc of the character, just yours character. And from point A to point B, there's so much that's happening in your life that it just excites an actor, any actor, when they read about their part, because those things are not written in paper as much as it was written out here.
Right.
You know, everything, like she could have different shades, and it's all portrayed in that bunch of papers that we had. So that is very exhilarating to know that, you know, firstly that the maker is putting in that kind of effort and that kind of faith in you to actually perform this entire arc. So that is very exciting.
You know what I think also, why these characters are so rich and colorful is because of their world. The world is so complicated, and therefore they are not at all perfect, or rather what we would like people to be.
Right.
Is subscribing to how societal norms are. So, and within the family also, it's a very dysfunctional family. In fact, there's one scene towards the end where Radhika's character Shanta tells Dimple that you gave us we didn't ever have a normal family.
Right.
But now what you've done to our family, playing your little game of where she doesn't even know whether it's of succession. No one really knows what her ultimate plan is.
Goal is,
And we always keep it like that. We keep it ambivalent because the idea is that it's very difficult to decipher what is going on in this matriarch's mind. And so she tells her that, you know, at least you gave us a family. Right. But now you have, in your own game, split this family up and destroyed it.
It's a good thing that you brought this up, because I want to ask all of you actually, how do we feel about Rani Ba? Because I feel like she's, I mean, is it fair to say that she's more invested in the business than she is in the happiness of her kids? She seems to be perfectly okay that those boys spend like 12 days in a year, and her daughter they're in the US, and these poor daughter-in-laws of hers, this daughter of hers are like helping in the family business. She seems kind of selfish mom.
I don't think we're poor daughter-in-laws
They're not
by
poor.
any
There's
means.
nothing poor about the daughter-in-laws or the daughter.
I mean, she clearly doesn't. She's not worried about grandkids and those. She's not that grandmom.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
she's not that. That's what I'm saying. So the whole thing doesn't subscribe to. That's why when you're saying, when you say call it Saas Bahu, it really flips it on its
Correct,
head
it does.
because it goes away from all the stereotypes of what it should be or the
True.
the way it's packaged. I mean, yeah, she has no interest in that. She actually has groomed the bahus and handpicked them specifically for the business, and then she's married them off to these two sons of hers. That's just not fair.
Doofuses. They're complete doofuses.
I'm not saying anything.
I love Ashish and Madan. I think they're phenomenal. But
We'll get to
the
that in a
actors
bit.
we are talking about. He's not calling them doofuses in real life. I mean, really.
Just
yeah.
Kapil and Harish.
Yeah. No, but they are. But they also have very interesting arcs.
Yeah.
And very
And
important.
they get pulled into the business finally when Savitri realizes that now the threat of their existence has reached her doorstep. At that point, that is when she decides to take a step back.
Right. One of the things I loved was that bit where the two boys are in the car. They're coming home for the first time, and they're speaking dismissively about their wives. Bijli garajti nahi hai, barasti nahi hai. Kajal is like this, Shanta is like this, and at one point, he says, even mom's not answering the phone, and Harish goes, she's become old, yeah. And you cut to these four chicks dicing, slicing, stabbing these men. I mean, was it empowering just doing the action? I mean, that's so rare. I mean, it's sadly in 2023, it's still rare to find the girls doing the gruesome, brutal action.
I love doing action.
Honestly,
I love it.
yeah.
It is so empowering, and we have two fight sequences in the show, and I was looking forward to both of them. And I just love gory stuff. Like when the blood splashes and I'm slicing everyone.
A little disturbing.
Yeah.
It is a part of me. I don't know why.
And fighting in skirts is the
Yeah.
best. I've never done this
No.
before. Yeah, it was so cool because like even the way it was choreographed so seamlessly that you will not imagine them, how are they doing it? It's not. No, I think it just all looks so
But I
nicely
feel
put together.
that actually comes from what their characters are.
Yeah.
More than it's not that very stylized fighting, except for some one little windmill thing she does over someone's back, which she insisted on doing. But otherwise, it's all very hard, and that was my brief also to the action director Amrit, and I said that it should be hard because I mean, frankly, like I've played rugby in my life and I used to box and I've done that, and I've never seen people fight the way they fight in movies. They just keep hitting each other and nothing seems to happen. So here, when these guys punch, they need to punch once or twice and it's done. You don't need to keep hitting someone 100 times and then they hit you back 100 times. And so it's all very sort of hard and brutal and very sort of close combat, even though they've got firearms.
Isha, did you enjoy sort of the physicality of it?
जी कट्टे तो कभी चलाए नहीं है मैंने अपनी ज़िंदगी में तो मैंने डेफिनेटली मेरे लिए फर्स्ट टाइम था मुझे एक्शन रोल करना था but of course the mechanics of it is very different once you really get down and you have to rehearse it and get it right and of course there's a body double but I remember one day when the fighter was with me like just threw me down I was like shit this hurts and it was tough to do it for me but definitely I think there's some kind of strength that just you kind of feel when you're in the middle of all that and taking 4 men down.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'd say after the 2 episodes, my favorite scene is that dinner sequence in the second episode, which is just fantastic.
Now that's a dinner I would like to be at.
I would be, yeah. It's terrific because there's a lot going on the front, and there's a lot that's going on literally sort of
Under
away
the
from the
table.
under the table, literally under the table. I mean, the shot with Harish, which is Ashish's character, I mean, lifting that fork and eating the gulab jamun is, and then going at that fork, like enjoying the
it's a
taste.
touch-
This is
it's a touch
unusual.
salty.
It's a touch salty. I mean, and that actually kind of makes me think that what's interesting about the show is that with the visceral nature of the violence, with all of that, there's also this humor which kind of offsets all the real intense drama and the violence. I mean, was that sort of fun to explore?
Of course, it's always fun to keep it on a lighter note after you've seen all that gore and heads bashing and all of that. So, also when you watch it, there's not only action or only drama or only, there's so much in between that's happening, between characters that's happening. There's drama also. There's so much of that humor that if you catch, you catch, or you don't. You know,
Characters
so
are very emotionally invested in the whole thing.
so I really enjoyed doing all of that, and at no point you can tell that these people are joking. Like, it's a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a
It's actually
joke.
done very seriously,
It's
yeah.
very seriously done.
But it used to be a good break for all of us because we're playing such serious characters, especially like it used to be for me at least. I don't know about you guys. Like whenever I had a scene with Harish, I was looking forward to that day. Like I was like, चलो आज थोड़ा हंसेंगे, चेहरे पे मुस्कुराहट आएगी. But of course character में नहीं आ सकती. But at least जब मेरे पे कैमरा नहीं है, मैं हंस तो सकती हूँ. कुछ तो कर सकती हूँ. Lighter day तो होगा.
Dinner table scene. He made Harish sit right in front of me. I told him, why are you doing this? Don't do that. I'm not gonna have a straight face, John. So this is how we were shooting, which is so nice because if you keep it light, you're easier.
Yeah.
You're easier.
We
on
should
the
actually
eye.
take a moment to appreciate Ashish, who plays Harish.
Yes,
he's
he's
fantastic. I mean,
fantastic.
he's just. What was your brief to him?
Just be yourself.
No, that's mean.
No, in fact, he auditioned. I didn't know him from any earlier experiences, but I remember he auditioned and he did the entire hallucination.
Yeah.
Which he really.
That is
they
really
made
the centerpiece of the first couple of episodes.
What do you call it? Casting director did a very elaborate setup where he went through, I don't know, some road and then up some. Means that guy
fell in a
directed an
bathtub
entire
also.
and an entire hallucination sequence. So I was very clear of what I didn't want to shoot, or rather how I didn't want to shoot. But no, but it was such an effort, and I realized that this guy gets it. You know, it's not that he has to have experienced something. He gets it, and his timing is very good.
Yeah.
His timing is very, very good, and yeah, I mean, even Varun was extremely
He's
sort
very
of.
good, yeah.
He's
and
very.
and they're kind of nice, the foil to each other, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, like he's very
Straight-laced
anal
and-
and
yeah.
very straight-laced, and his trajectory is quite. I mean, he's got the best graph. In
Best
fact.
graph, yeah.
You know, what he's calling upon his actors to do is complex. I mean, these are not your straight off the bat characters. Is he a sensitive director? Is he someone who understands the pain and really what it takes to muster up complex emotions? I mean, he's had some experience acting.
Yeah. Oh, do you want me to do the Synthol one or do you want me to do the Amul one?
Dude, I wasn't as entitled as you all. I had to work when I was in college, earn some money, and so I could travel and gather stories.
Weren't you also in the closing credit sequence of Rahul Bose's film?
Yeah.
With ants crawling inside your clothes?
In my mouth.
In mouth.
And he still hasn't paid me for it.
He's an extremely
Next
sensitive.
question.
Let us answer that.
He's an
Keep quiet.
Yeah, he doesn't want any praise, as you can see. He's okay to
Of course he
praise
wants
us.
praise, yeah.
Okay, praise me. What the hell?
No, I genuinely think his actors perform really well because he's very sensitive. And the set, the way it's run, is also very actor friendly. Like there were times people were really told to give us space, and we were really taken care of on this set. So I think because I remember we were doing a scene and where I had to break down, it's the last episode, and he was crying before me. And I've never really seen that in, I mean, directors come and tell you got to do this and you got to cry and this got to happen and that's got to happen. But nobody really does it. And nobody a lot of them don't seem to be feeling it. I think you can really feel his material. He's really invested in his material. And that's what makes you you want to really be like, okay, I want to give it my all because somebody's, it's somebody's vision and you want to be able to fulfill it to the best of your capacity.
Also, he explains it so well to you that you know that you cannot fool him. You can't. fool him.
Thanks.
Yeah, really, you can't, because he knows the character inside out, back and front. Like, you can't fool him. So you have to, that he's already felt Kajal's character or Bijli's character, Shanta's every character, Rani Ba's character, already before he has actually poured it out in front of you and explained to you what it is about.
Right.
So yes, if that is called being sensitive, this is a very sensitive
You
man
worked with
sitting
him
here.
twice now.
I worked with them twice. In the first film, I don't think we spoke a lot because I thought that it is a make or break for my career. And ये opportunity तो life में नहीं मिलती, तो मेरे को किसी से बात नहीं करनी, मैं सिर्फ अपनी script के साथ रहूँगी. And I think we came close in this project, and getting to know him as a person is so beautiful because it reflects so much in his work. For example, if a character is dying in his series, he won't sleep the whole night. He will mourn. He will be crying all night. He will be like, oh my god, what happened to him today? I shot this. Why did I do that?
Again, they're imitating me.
But that just shows how...
Right, it's his own words.
It's
Yeah,
his
yeah.
own thing. And so I never had a doubt that I was feeling a certain way after performing Shanta because she's so internal and I couldn't express. And I was at a place where I didn't want to come out of my room. And the only person I knew I could share this with is Homi because he also was living Shanta.
Right.
So I just went up to him and I told him that I don't know what to do because I just keep sitting on one side of the sofa in my room and I don't feel like eating, I don't feel like moving. So many things are pent up inside me and I don't know who I can share it with, who I can trust. Because I can't trust anybody in the
Her
show.
parents made the fatal error of coming and doing a little visit
Oh.
in where we were shooting. And I met them and they're like, what has happened to Radhika? With the little Beti has just become. I said, what has happened? I said, what has happened to her? She said, she doesn't speak to us. She's not doing this, she's doing that. I said, she's immersed in a role, yeah. Let this thing
But
get
isn't
over.
there a side to you that also can be like shouty? I mean, I remember Dimple telling me once that he's the only director, and Dimple has worked with like everyone, like Gulzar Saab and the works. He's the only director who can scream at her from the monitor, "Hey Dimple, you're faking it, do it right."
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I'm not liking everyone imitating me on this fucking interview.
But
Now, whenever I
should I tell him about that walking thing?
Yes, please, of course.
So I was shooting for Kutte with SBC, SBF now. And मैंने बोला चलो finally a light day से मुझे walk करके आना है और कुछ ऐसे character में ऐसे नहीं करना. So 200 people and खत्म हो रही थी shift. तो उन्होंने बोला हाँ call शांता and मैं सबसे बातें करे जा रही हूँ. मैं yeah sure. And उन्होंने बोला हाँ बस walk करके बैठ जाओ. मैंने बोला sure. And rolling action. I walked. I sat down. Cut. Silence. Can you fucking walk in as Shanta? And 200 people
Don't
on the mic.
lie about my character, yeah.
And
She's brought the other character from Bombay and she's put it into Shanta's clothes. I can see it, yeah.
So I suppose in the larger good,
I never got
you're-
yelled at.
You're forgiven, I suppose.
They know I am, yeah.
I never got yelled at.
Okay. Oh,
Just
nice.
saying.
Oh, good.
Never got. Only love.
Okay. Oh, good.
you never like yelled at her.
I got yelled at properly.
I was so Dimple ma'am and I बोल तो रही हूँ.
But can that? I mean, listen. To the two of you, Angira and Isha, because you were working with him for the first time, can that shatter your confidence
No, I would not. I would never do that.
in
to
front
an-
of 200 people?
I
yaar,
would
if you're
never do
screaming at
that to an
someone?
actor who doesn't know me. Okay. I would never do that. I mean, by the time we were shooting and we were in a place where we knew each other inside out, and then they know. I'm not someone who'll shout and then there's nothing. It goes.
Right.
It's gone. It's over.
done. Yeah, it's not held.
Nothing ever, ever, ever. So the fact is that once you have that equation, and you know now this guy's a bit of a loony bawa. Once in a while he'll scream, he'll love you with the same passion, he'll shout with the same passion, he'll eat with the same, everything's. So it's that, yeah. So it's taken with a bucket of salt, but it's also, it's also they understand what the reason is. And I'm not unreasonable. I don't just shout because you're wearing the wrong color T-shirt or something.
Homie, there is an inherent coolness to the characters you write, to the worlds that you create in your movies. It's true of Being Cyrus, it's true of Finding Fanny, it's true of Cocktail even. But those were very urban worlds. This is not a world that one naturally sort of associates with you. What, to all three of you and to you specifically, what do you feel like where is that in your opinion, where's the Homi touch in Saas Bahu or Flamingo? And did y'all feel it as well? Did y'all kind of, the little sort of off sense of humor? I feel like it's the Harish character.
I think it's throughout.
Bijli is not cool at all.
All of us.
I think it's all of
Actually,
us.
Bijli is, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
she's,
Bijli
she's,
is just
I mean, on
hot.
so many levels.
Yeah.
I think all of us in
No, I think
every
all the
character,
characters are very cool.
Every character.
They all have,
Little-
they're all, they're extremely
There's nothing predictable about it,
unpredictable, yeah.
is what I think. And I don't think it was done on purpose also. Like the way we...
It was just written that way.
It was just written that way, and it was never on purpose, like said that, oh, you're different, and then you're different,
Right.
and then you're... No, it just... And yet everything just comes together so seamlessly that they are a part of the family and you can tell.
Right.
Although they're so, diametrically opposite
Each other,
to
yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
Also, it's a very contemporary show. We're
That's
not
true.
saying it's a rural
It's
show.
actually fantastic
and
because it's
yeah.
there's a shot where the goats are grazing and there's a water, no, there's an air purifier.
There's a Dyson
I mean, it's
fan.
superb. Like there's a Dyson, yeah.
There's like an Apple Watch
Apple Watch
with...
is where she's kind of,
No,
Gates
exactly,
mat karo,
In
yeah.
fact,
And these women are well traveled.
Correct.
They
in
are,
fact,
they've seen the world.
Savitri is
so-
Savitri is milking a goat with an Apple Watch on, and then she says, "Where's my daughter?"
Right.
And that's where you cut to her kicking her head back with her VR headset, having her second wave.
We should take a moment to talk quickly about Deepak Dobriyal, who's so fantastic as the antagonist. I'm not going to give away too much, but did you discover his genius while working on Angrezi Medium?
I actually offered Deepak the cop's role.
Oh, interesting.
And he went back, and a week later I called him up and I said, listen, the cop's role will be very easy for you to do because cop is slightly quirky but serious.
Yeah.
And I said, initially he was way quirkier, but we needed to give him a certain amount of gravitas, otherwise what the hell is he doing against this?
In this lot of people, yeah.
So, so Deepak went back with that role, and a week later I called him and he said, should I come and discuss the role? I said, no, I'm changing the role. So he said, now means you're chucking me out of this. I said, no, I'm giving you a smaller role, but a way more complicated and intense character, which you've not done before.
Yeah.
So I
Again, his introduction scene
is superb.
is sort of, eating that lunch.
And I wanted him to play this guy, and who is he's basically a guy who starves himself.
Yeah.
And he feels that when you starve yourself, all your sort of indriyas open up, and you become sharp, and you don't lose sight of what your focus is. But he again he's way more complicated than Savitri. You don't understand what on earth is motivating this guy, but actually it's just unadulterated revenge that he wants. And so Deepak, a very funny thing happened with him. I don't know whether it was production or whether it was his own confusion, but he for some reason thought that he was shooting in the first schedule, and he became this character, and his look is extremely different.
His look is incredible because, I want to say, in that introduction scene, because he's spotless, he's hairless. The face is a canvas. I mean, every emotion stands out because it's just bare. It's
and
menacing.
And he's extremely still.
Yeah.
And he's freckled.
Yeah.
And so he got into this whole space, and I said, dude, it's a bit premature. So he's like, why? Kyun Homi bhai? I said, because we are in November and you're shooting in Jan. So he said, what? And he said, my wife is getting scared of me at home because I keep looking at her as this really weird,
creepy
pervy
kind of
way.
guy.
And she's just like, what's wrong with you, dude? He said, no, my character. And I said, don't, please stop. Just wait, do something else and come back in Jan. He said, now I can't leave this guy. He got so immersed in his character. And Yeah, but it was premature because it was about 3 months before he had to shoot.
We should end by talking about the possibility of season 2 and whether it's mapped out.
I have ideas. I mean, I think it's a very open canvas with yeah. I mean, so there's it's a very strong possibility to go anywhere with it.
Sure.
But you really need to watch it for that because that is a cliffhanger from hell.
Okay.
It's almost like you put the grenade in the audience's hand and you're holding the pin and you're like, have fun, mofos.
I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes. I can't wait to get into the next. So I've deliberately kind of avoided asking you all too much of what happens next. I want to discover it for myself. But thank you. This was fun. It's also really good fun to see chicks in action. Y'all. I mean, I would not want to be on the wrong side of the three of you. No, I mean that with only affection and with full respect, of
Admiration.
course. And admiration and fear. I've seen.
I have a weapon, Yeah, I carry my
complete
weapon
fear.
after the show, yeah.
It
So,
was, yeah.
yeah.
I would
Don't
never
mess.
dare upsetting you guys. Thank you so much. Can't wait to watch the rest of the show. Thank you.
Rajeev.
Thank you, Rajeev.
Thank you.